sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle dripping heat, tigers strike the city streets. East side stand up, west side stand up. If you reppin' who day, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fit it. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move crossing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange on bottle. Bingo bottle. Never stop it till the beast and know 'em. Who ain't rockin' with the diamond stripes? Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the back-to-back AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do me a favor, if you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are killing it. I am up to 2,379 subscribers. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter X and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, why not? Please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification. Every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, if you subscribe to the channel, I've been putting lots of different stuff on there, different videos, different shorts, stuff like that. So make sure you check all the stuff out that I have on the YouTube channel. Again, it's Sports with Strawberry Ice. And as always, I'm coming to you live from this glorious place down there. It's the Ice Cave. The Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And you know it. I wear it almost every single day. I got the visor on today. People want to see what my hair looks like. See, it doesn't look all pretty now. My hair, for people, on the podcast, my hair spiked. Anyway, if you guys wanted the Jackpot Joey gear, the hats, the visors, the flags, any of that stuff, please go to jackpotjoey9.com. Portions of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. The beer is out. West Side Peeps. I found a spot that has it. I think it's called Timers Drive-Thru. It's right there on Crookshank Road. They have plenty of it. So if you guys want to go get some of the Jackpot Joey and you live on the west side like I do, go to Timers right there on it's the corner. Well, it's Anderson Ferry, I guess, where Anderson Ferry turns into Crookshank. Right there at that corner, that drive through there, they have it. Again, portion of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Foundation as well. What's up to everybody in the chat? We had strangers in there first. Kevin's in there. Lindsay, Andrew, Augie, Greg, Lindsay again, Andrew again. What is up? I will try to get to all your questions here in a minute, but let's get to the reason we're here. And just to let you know, Joe Burrow was throwing the ball today. Looked pretty good. I'll play that video here in a minute. But let's get to Dallas. What's going on, Dallas? How are you, brother?
I'm good, Jeff. Thanks for having me back on here again. I know you had my co-host, Mr. Jay Morrison, on yesterday, so it's a PFN takeover this week. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I can't believe we're going into week 5 already. I can't believe the Bengals are in the position they're in either. So it's a lot to get to.
You're telling me, dude. I just listened to, I think it was your guys' podcast or somebody. You said the same thing. I'm like, wow, you're right. We're already through the first month of the season. Like,
I know.
Damn, that went quick. It seemed like it took with the Reds being good, the summer wasn't as long for me this year as but training camp seemed like it took freaking forever. But once we got through that, now we're like rolling through it and we're on to Arizona. But I did see your boy Jay out there, and they saw some good news. I think we got a video here from Jeremy Rowell, Fox 19, of Joe Burrow making some passes. Let's check this out. Oh, it would help if I actually played a video. We'll try this again. I mean, he looks pretty good to me. I'm no doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, people on Twitter are like, somebody else on Twitter, well, it doesn't look like he's moving in water and he's moving too slow and yada yada yada. I'm like, he's warming up. I mean, he's not going to go full speed, so I'm not sure what people want. But from that video, for my expertise, which I have none, I think he looks pretty good. What do you think, Dallas?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor either. You know, I can just
you play one on the internet. Some people
I try to. You know, I think a lot of people do. I don't know. I mean, I think only Joe knows how he really feels, right? I don't think any of us are going to have any, wisdom on that all of a sudden. I don't know. I think Jay brought up a good point on our podcast yesterday, the Pro Football Network Bengals podcast. Shameless plug. Got to throw that in there.
Plug all the way, man. Plug away.
He said that the same thing, that Joe looks good in practice, that Joe doesn't have a limp when he's moving around in practice, that he's running out of the pocket in practice, and he never looks uncomfortable. And that maybe it's more, instead of a pain tolerance issue, it's more of just like a mental issue, that every time Joe takes a hit in a game, every time he maybe tries to escape the pocket or scramble, which he's done a little bit on occasion, obviously he's severely limited, but he's done a little bit of that every time he does that, he's thinking, am I going to tweak this? Am I going to aggravate this? Am I going to do something that gets us back to where we were, weeks ago? And I'm going to go back to square one and we're going to have to start this process all over again. I think that's a great point, and I wonder if that's the thing, is he just doesn't want to start this whole process over again. It's not necessarily a pain issue on every play. It's we don't want to go back to square one, and I think that's fair. I think that's probably a fair outlook to have.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where what I've said. Because I think he got, I don't want to say overconfident, but pretty confident about his calf in that Ravens game, because he was moving around and coming out of the pocket really well. He was starting, like the second half there, he was starting to look like his old self, and then he tweaked it again. And like you said, went all back to square one. So that's where I've noticed, like Augie's asking, do I see improvements in it? He looks to me like he is getting better. I mean, he's running. I haven't seen him do a full sprint or anything. But I mean, I've heard he's done them at practice. I'll tell you that. I haven't seen it for myself, but I've heard he's done them. So, but get back to the point, is that's where I think it's a mental thing, where he's worried because he's got like I said this before, Corey Dillon has been on my show. Yeah. And he's talked about the pressure that Joe has because of the contract. And of course, all this hits when he gets the contract. Mm-hmm. The pressure of trying to perform and the mental pressure to, like, my guys are out there. Like, I can walk, I can play. He goes, Corey's like, that really gets to you of trying to get out there and play. Then he gets out there and plays, and he has the pressure of not screwing his calf up again. So, and people are like, well, that's why he needs to sit. Okay. Well, Bengals captain said this, and I agree with him. Joe Burrow is a guy who needs reps. So if you sit him, he's not getting the reps. He comes back, he might be healthy, but he's rusty. That's where, it's a juggling act, I think.
Yeah, there are a lot of competing factors, right? I mean, I think he said today after practice that he felt the best he's felt in a long time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that's a positive.
That's a great positive.
I really think that they're just trying to say, can you gut it out through these next 2 weeks, get to the bye week, and let's see what can happen after that. And just pray to God that time will allow his calf to heal and maybe get some sort of at least closer to where he was before. I don't know. I don't know whether he can do that or not. I'm sure he feels a lot of pressure because of the contract. I'm sure he feels a lot of pressure just from being an NFL quarterback. They're the leaders of NFL teams.
Right.
They don't want to ever sit out games, And the fact, I think we talked about this after week one, you could blame that week one loss on a lot of things, on Joe Burrow's injury, on the weather. Maybe there was some pressure from the contract, right? I think all those factors are still kind of coming up. Joe Burrow has got to be one of the most competitive people on the planet Earth, right? He didn't want to come out of the game on Sunday when they were down 24 points with 10 minutes left.
When all of us Bengals fans are screaming at TV like, "Why are you going back into the game?"
Like, do you think this Bengals offense is going to score 24 points in 10 unanswered points in 10 minutes? I don't.
I heard you did it one time.
Matted, yes. No.
See, that can
be. You do. Good. I like that. Thank you. But I think if he's not going to doesn't want to come out in that situation, they're not going to want to bench him he's not going to want to sit out for a full game.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I think Zach Taylor probably he's a player's coach. And if Joe Burrow wants to play, he's going to play. And I think that's just kind of how it is. Maybe if they truly fall out of things here in a few weeks and it's clear the season is over, you say, hey, we've got an investment in this guy. We're going to sit you down. This is just not our year.
Right.
I could see that. Mm-hmm. Right now, when we're 4 weeks into the season, I don't think it's a possibility. I don't think it's realistic.
Yeah, and like Zachy said today at his press conference, I can't remember the question. Either it's pain tolerance or if Joe plays or something like that. But he basically said, I'm going to lean on Joe. I think it was feels and the pain tolerance and everything, which I've said this a million times on here because doctors have said this. And again, I am not a doctor. I'm just going by what they say. A calf strain like this, they don't know. The doctors can't tell you when it's completely healed. Only the player.
Yeah.
Because they can't even find on the images on an MRI or whatever that it won't show them if it's healed or not. I mean,
right.
You could say it is, and then they go out, all right, it's great, and then they hurt it. I mean, that's what's so tricky about this, which I'll be happy to be done with this. I'm so tired of talking about calves, but that's where we're so it's tricky. And people get mad at Zach saying, oh, you should just sit him. But if Joe Burrow's saying, I'm good, and that's the leader of your team, where you got to cut his legs out from under him in front of everybody and say, no, you're sitting?
And if you sit him, the season probably is over now. Because
right. Well, that rolls me to my other question.
Yeah.
Is if they lose, which I don't think they're going to lose. I think they're going to have a bunch of angry Bengals. I think we're going to come out there and win. I don't know if we're going to crush them or not. I think we're going to win. But worst case scenario, they lose. The season's over. I mean, I'm the most optimistic Bengals fan there is. If we lose to Arizona, the season's over. I don't think we're going to do that. But, I mean, are you in agreement with that?
Definitely. I mean, I hate to say that. And look, the Bengals won, 10 straight games last year?
Uh-huh.
Obviously, yes, it can be done. But that was Joe Burrow at full strength. I mean, it's just a completely different situation this year. I think if you fall to 1-4, not just in the AFC North, where assuming Baltimore wins, they'll be 3 games behind Baltimore in the AFC North in that situation. But in the AFC as a whole, I mean, this is obviously a loaded conference. You fall to 1-4, yes. Mathematically, you look back at any season, 1-4 is a death sentence. I mean, 1-3 is basically a death sentence.
It's hard.
See if they can come out of that. In the state of the NFL, how it is now, with how strong the AFC is, I think the season would be over. And I think it would be over. And I think if Jake Browning played on Sunday, I don't think the Bengals can win because we've never really seen
3 passes.
We've never really seen him in a game, but the Arizona Cardinals aren't the joke that we thought they were going to be coming into the season. And maybe we can talk about that, but they've been pretty impressive.
They've been in every game.
Yeah, and I don't think
they beat Dallas.
Yeah, I don't think a Jake Browning led team could go out there and maybe they could pull it out, but it's not going to be a definitive win in any capacity with Jake Browning. I don't know if it's going to be with Joe Burrow either, but they obviously have a better chance.
We have a better chance. And the thing is, the hope that I'm holding on to, and Bengals fans, you hold on to this, the farther Joe gets away from the second time he aggravated or hurt it, the more the healthier he's going to be. So he's healthier now than he's been, since he hurt it the second time. So that's the caveat is the farther he gets away from the second aggravation, the better he's going to start doing stuff. And that's what you can hope. And I'm with you. Now, the caveat to that, people would say, well, they should have addressed the backup quarterback situation a little better. Where I'm like, well, they did. I don't think good enough. They tried to get Trevor Siemian. He didn't work. And then who's the guy from Dallas that they had? And he
Will Grier.
Yeah, they had Will Grier.
Yeah. And
then he up and left on him, which I don't think they were ready for.
Yeah.
Now, you can say they should have got somebody better. I mean, I was all for getting old Bengals back. Either Andy Dalton back or getting AJ McCarron back. He had a good season in the XFL. Mm-hmm. Now people have thrown that at me well, AJ McCarron will start over Jake Browning. I don't know about that. He's only been here a week and a half. And Jay Morrison, your co-host, kind of agreed with me on that. I don't think AJ McCarron is ready to play in this offense because he's never played in a Zach Taylor offense.
Yeah, I mean, they could have brought in a different or better backup quarterback this offseason, but I mean, it's the eternal question. How much do you want to invest in a position that if you're starting a backup quarterback, you're already in a poor position, right? I mean, Jacoby Brissett was available this year. He got $8 million. Do the Bengals want to spend $8 million on a quarterback who hopefully doesn't ever see the field. I mean, Taylor Heineke's at like $7 million or $7.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some teams think it's worth it to invest in a backup quarterback. Some don't. The Bengals didn't know that Joe Burrow was going to suffer a calf strain before training camp or during training camp when they were making
second day of camp.
Yeah.
Second day.
Yeah, you don't know that when you're making these moves in the spring, right? Or in the summer. You don't know. So, yeah, do I think Trevor Siemian or Jake Browning was the best backup plan the Bengals could have gone for? No. Was there a middle ground between that and the upper tier of backups? Maybe. There could have been, but I don't know. Is that question that every NFL team has to kind of answer is it even worth it to spend money on a backup quarterback when if he comes in, we're probably toast anyway?
Well, the thing is, that's kind of interesting you brought that up because they used to never spend money on guards,
Yeah.
and then they went and got Alex Kappa.
Yep.
So they've changed that. Now, I mean, it's not going to do this ain't good now, but maybe this next offseason, maybe they're like, all right, well, maybe we should spend a little bit more money on a backup quarterback, which it is what it is. I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's I hate Monday morning quarterback. If Joe doesn't get hurt, none of this matters, but he did. So that's kind of where
exactly.
where we're
I mean, they can go out and sign Carson Wentz now or Joe Flacco or somebody if they think that that's an improvement. But it's
I don't know if that is.
I don't know that it is either. And it's like at this point in the season, it is kind of is what it is. Like you said, this is the reality that they have to face now, and whether they can get through it or not, I guess is an open question that we'll find out.
Exactly. Now, one guy I know who is looking forward to this weekend's game is Lou Anarumo, the man.
Oh yes,
Lou Dini.
Oh yes.
I hope he dials some stuff up. Now, it's kind of scary because this defense has not been anywhere close to, except for Monday night. Monday night looked great, but that's really the only game it's looked good this whole season. What's your thoughts on why that is, and how excited do you think Lou is? So it's kind of a two-part question.
I'm sure Lou was very excited. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure he definitely thought he had that Cardinals job. I think he was pretty perturbed that he didn't get that job or get any job. Yeah. I'm sure he's fired up based on that, based on how his defense is playing, which is not great. I don't know what the problem is. It's hard to say. You hate to say, I just want these guys to play better, but that's what it really feels like, right? It doesn't seem like there's, and so obviously missed tackling has been an issue, and it was an issue.
Yeah, it was a 27 missed tackles. Like
Jay, it was a lot though.
Jay looked at me like I had three eyes when I'm like, all right, I kind of messed up on the stat there. Sorry.
I mean, it was a lot of missed tackles. There was a lot of guys bouncing off Derrick Henry, and a lot of big plays to a Titans offense that you wouldn't think could make a lot of big plays, right? This isn't exactly.
We made Tanner Hudson look like not Tanner Hudson.
Tannehill
like a freaking all-pro. They made them look like the greatest show on turf. They were throwing the ball deep. They never do that.
It made no sense, really. I honestly couldn't believe it. And the fact, and they got to Tannehill a couple times, but it wasn't like they were getting after him on every play, which I thought they would. I think the Titans have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, like by far. And it didn't really look like that on Sunday. They got to Tannehill a couple times, but it wasn't on every play.
Right.
I think I really do think the Bengals defense will have a rebound game against the Cardinals. I'm still a little uncertain on how this offense is going to play, but I think when I look at this Bengals Cardinals game and I pick the Bengals, which I did, it's because of how I think this defense is going to play.
Exactly.
I don't think the Cardinals have a very strong offensive line either, especially on the interior. So I'm interested to see if Lou move, like what kind of packages he uses on third down, who he can get rushing from that defensive tackle spot to really wreak some havoc in the middle. But I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if it's like, I think some of the back end issues, it might be communication related. I mean, you've got a couple of young safeties. You don't have Jesse Bates. You don't have Von Bell anymore. Maybe that's like an easy excuse, but I think that probably is part of the concern.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I have more faith in this Bengals defense to rebound.
I do too. I have faith in all of it, to be honest. I mean, every part of it, I think they can get better.
Yeah. I think because the thing with the offense is like you're just waiting on Joe Burrow to get healthy and maybe T. Higgins to get healthy now too. Whereas the defense, you're not really like waiting around on anything. It's just like, let's see you guys execute. Let's see you actually perform the way that we know you can. I think it'll happen this week. I guess I have questions like it's got to. And like once they start playing better offenses too, like Seattle's a good offense, Buffalo, San Francisco. If they can't hold up at that point, I mean, I don't know. and the
Yeah.
offense still looks like this, it's going to be a problem. But yeah,
Exactly.
this week, I think there's going to be a rebound for Lou's unit for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like a couple of the, I'm not going to say who it was, but a couple of the coaches told me on the way out to practice, they have to win. So that's their mindset. They have to win. That's where, and
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I'm sure they feel the pressure. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure in that building. I kind of wonder, like, if they, I know you don't want to get too negative, and neither do I, but I can't help but like look ahead. And if they lose this game, like, what's the locker room going to be like?
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a situation they've dealt with over the past few years. Everything's been so positive. It'll be interesting to see.
And one thing that another thing I'm hanging my hat on is that the team did a similar thing to this last year. And I know the experts say you can't rely on last year because it's a different team. It's really not. It's the same freaking team. I mean, they did it last year. I mean, so they can just go back to, they have confidence that they can do it because they know they've done it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. And let's just get back to Joe. And I think this is an important thing that Joe said. He said that this is the best he's felt all season after a game.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, ding, 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 ding. That's pretty good. Pretty big statement right there, whether you want to look at it that way or not. Because if he says it, because before that, after the Baltimore game, he's like, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. He's like, and Joe's never going to go, I feel 100%, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He says that's the best he's felt. That's a pretty good statement right there, I think.
Yeah. It's like, he's been generally pretty honest about how he's felt through this whole thing. So to hear him say, like, hey, I feel really good, and to give kind of that positive update, it's good to hear, obviously. It's been hard to like hear him and Zach talk over these past couple of weeks, honestly. They asked some of the reporters asked Joe Burrow, what's the offensive identity of this team? And I think his answer was something like, we don't have any. We don't have one right now. Like, we can't get anything going.
Right.
It's so shocking to see that. Yeah, I think if he says that he feels better, I believe him. I mean, there's no benefit to him setting expectations too high and then going out there and looking like it's looked these past few weeks, right? You gotta set expectations low and then go and exceed them. So I think it's good. I think it's good for him to say that he's feeling good. But we're not gonna know until the ball starts flying, the action starts going again on Sunday.
You won't know.
We're not gonna know. I think every week it'll probably, until we see him go out and have one of these Joe Burrow classic performances, it's going to be like kind of a repeat every week. Joe, how you feeling? Are you feeling better? Yeah, I'm feeling a little better. It's not going to matter. We got to see him in the game, and that'll tell the real story, I think.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, Dallas is, I think the Bengals, and I hope they had this mindset. I know the mindset is we got to win, but I also hope the mindset is we got nothing to lose.
That's true.
And I hope Zach is going out there like, we got nothing to lose. I mean, we lose, it's over. So go out there, play balls to the wall, go for it on fourth down. And when you're, 4th and 3 in the end zone, go for it, and it's kind of, Zach has done that more often.
Yes.
But he hasn't this year. And the more I look back on the game, I wasn't like a red flag going, oh, he should have went for it. But the more I think about it now, it's kind of surprised that they didn't go for it on that opening drive to try to get a touchdown.
Not just that one, but there was the one right before halftime at midfield, another fourth down where they could have gone for it. I think you're right. I think Zach Taylor has been pretty good at making these like fourth down decisions and other analytically friendly decisions like through his time here. I would agree with that. I do wonder if he's thinking, okay, our offense and Joe Burrow are so limited that first drive, we've got to get some sort of points on the board. And he also mentioned that the Titans have a really good red zone defense, which they do. They do historically. Yeah. I think that if the Bengals offense keeps performing like this, they're not going to be favored in a lot of games. They're not going to be able to put up a lot of points. At that point is when you really need to start getting aggressive. That's not the point when you need to say, we need 3 points here and 3 points there. That's the time when you kind of got to say, what can we do to actually get some real scoring on the board here? Go for fourth downs, whether it's near the goal line or at midfield. I think that's the takeaway is if we're gonna have trouble scoring, then we've got to create more opportunities for ourselves. And the way you do that is to keep the ball by converting fourth downs and not taking 3 points or punting or, I think you've got to be aggressive. I think that's the mentality going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully that they'll scheme up stuff more like they did Monday night. Cause it seemed like that was what was puzzling to me. The more I went back and rewatched the game Because when I watch the game first, I'm a fan. I'm just watching. Then I rewatch it. I kind of try to put my analyst hat on, which I'm not an analyst at all, but I try to figure stuff out. But watching how it was schemed up Monday, how they're scheming up getting Jamar open.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. There was no motion or any, and not, I mean, it's some, but nothing like it was Monday. That's where I found it puzzling, where I always feel like maybe the Bengals overlooked the Titans, I mean, because they went in there, beat them three years in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought, we got this. We're going to, come out with a win. And I don't know if they did that or not, but just the game plan in general was odd to me. And I love Zach Taylor, but the game plan was odd.
I think Zach Taylor's done a really good job. I think he's a great people manager. I think he's a decent play caller. I think the problem the Bengals are running into is that this team is tailored to Joe Burrow and to Joe Burrow's strengths.
Yes.
And they just don't do the type of, like you said, motion, shifting, these other things that you see teams like the Dolphins and the 49ers do. They don't really do that type of stuff. And I don't know if that's just because Joe Burrow doesn't like that stuff, if that's because Zach Taylor doesn't like that stuff, if it's a combination. They've mostly been a player-driven team, right? They've been and maybe they overlooked the Titans. I think the Bengals' whole offensive strategy since Joe Burrow has been here is we're better than you. We don't need to scheme Jamar Chase and T. Higgins open. We don't need to create these, do little rub routes and stack bunch receivers and all this other stuff because we just have better talent than you do. They don't.
Which they did. They got more talent. Yeah, that's
and on paper they still do. But when your quarterback is playing like this and can't move and can't get the ball down the field, and if T. Higgins isn't going to be available, and the defense can just say it's Jamar Chase and nobody else, and we're going to stop him and not worry, then you've got to do something else. And I think there will be some questions about how this offense is being run depending on Sunday's result, just in terms of. Other teams win when they have backup quarterbacks. Other teams win when they have limited quarterbacks. What are the Bengals doing to help Joe Burrow out a little bit here? And I know what Brian Callahan talked about it today. You can't just install a new offense at midseason, right? You can't do that. These are human beings. It's not a computer game. You've got to work on the plays.
Scheme up something for different plays you already have to.
Yes,
which is what they did. I think
but you can tweak things.
It, yes,
and I would and they've done that in the past. They did that last year. They moved to a shotgun offense. They moved to a shotgun running game. They've changed their running scheme style.
Yep,
they have done things like that in the past, which gives me confidence that they can make some changes going forward, and that this team is a veteran enough team where they can kind of make those changes in season without having to say we need 2 or 3 weeks to get this right. I don't know. I have the faith that they can do something. I don't know exactly what that something will be, but I think something has to change. Depending on how this Sunday goes, if Joe Burrow looks like he has these past few weeks.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the guys who did not practice and were limited today. T was not dressed. Cam Taylor-Brett was not dressed. And then after practice, we saw that Orlando Brown was limited. He came up on there with a groin. Is there anybody else that I'm missing on that list? I think there's
Herb Smith was limited after missing last week. Yeah.
But he did practice a little bit.
He did practice, yeah.
So that's a good sign. Yeah. Let's get to T. I think I think he's going to play. I think if he can get out there and walk, if Joe's out there, T's going to be out there. Now I've literally broken all my ribs before in a car wreck. And
really?
Oh, dude, it hurt so freaking. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk. He's only broken one. He's also an elite athlete, so it's completely different than me. He's trying to play football.
You're not an elite athlete, Jeff?
No. I never was. I like to. I used to think I was some kind of athlete. Now I'm just a remote control athlete. That's all I am now.
Same here.
But they've went through this before with missing T. But again, Joe is healthy.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts there? If T can't go, are we relying on Trent Irwin, or is it time to have the Yossi show? Because I was kind of hoping they'd try to target him a little more last week when T was out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd like to see it. I think we all saw him in the preseason, how explosive he can be. I would think that Trent Irwin is probably going to get the first chance if T doesn't play, because he's been here the longest, and he showed last year that he's capable of being, wide receiver 4 type receiver in this offense. But I think, I would like to see, maybe they can have it dial up a few plays for Yoshivas and just get him out there and see what he can do. I don't really know. I don't really know what their plan is. I would agree that I think T will want to play. I've never broken a rib or broken all my ribs, so I can't say that I know what that feels like, but It doesn't sound great.
No, it wasn't.
If it's just a pain tolerance issue, yeah, I think he'll want to be out there. And
I mean, he kind of said that. He goes, I'm a football player.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Exactly. And he can wear like a flak jacket or whatever and get a little more comfortable. And like we said before, if the player wants to play, is Zach Taylor going to say no?
Right. And people kill me. They're like, you got to keep these players from themselves. I don't think T's going to hurt the rib anymore. It's already broke. Right. I mean, they put a flash. I don't think it's going to, I mean, again, no doctor. I don't know. Yeah. But guys have played with these things before. I mean, people act like Joe, it's a horrible, terrible idea. He's playing with his calf. Aaron Rodgers did. And I don't want to hear about he tore his Achilles this time. It was the other leg. He played with this injury in Green Bay, and Joe talked to him about it, how he got through it. So it can be done. It's not out of the realm of possibility that these guys, I mean, like T said, we're football players. They play with stuff that you and me would be sitting at home with an ice pack on and laying in bed, and my wife would be, she'd tell me I'm having a man cold again. She tells me that all the time. I don't get that. But anyway, that's where we're at. But I mean, either way, I would still like Yoshivas to get some more action and try to see what we saw in training camp can actually translate to the regular season. That would be nice.
I think it'd be great, especially because we don't know if T is going to be here next year. It'd be nice to see a little bit of Yoshivas and see, hey, can he play in a regular season NFL game? What can he do on the field? Is he a realistic option, like going forward, to be a wide receiver 2 on this team alongside Chase? I do think on T Higgins too. I'm sure his number one thought is this is a must-win game for the Bengals. Just like Joe Burrow was thinking, I got to be out there.
Right.
I wonder if his contract situation is playing into this at all too.
I've said this. I think it is. Yeah. And one thing I actually can't stand his agent, because I don't think his agent wants to negotiate with the teams. I think he wants his players to get the free agency. That's where I think he's at. And I thought we were going to sign T. At this point, I don't think this guy's going to play ball until he get his client gets the free agency. So yeah, I do think the contract is weighing on T's mind. Go ahead.
And I don't even know if that's the case. I don't know if that would make him want to play more or play less, because you want to be out there and get the statistics and prove that you're this wide receiver 1 type, but you also don't want to risk missing more time. That's the worst thing an NFL player can do in a contract season, is just not be on the field,
play,
right? Not play. That's the single worst thing you can do. So I'm sure it's all factoring in, just like, all the contract stuff with Burrow was a factor in everything we talked about before. Again, these guys are human beings. It's not Madden. These are real life people dealing with like real life injuries and real life contractual situations. It's complicated. If I had to guess, I'd say T will be out there, but that's just a guess.
All right. So with that being said, what do you think are the keys to the game to, first of all, stopping Arizona and the Bengals actually pulling this out?
I mean, I think based on previous weeks, they've got to limit the explosive plays. And it's, again, you look at the Cardinals roster, it's kind of like the Titans. It doesn't look scary on paper. Josh Jobs is playing quarterback, right?
But he's playing out of his mind too.
He's like 8th in QBR. It's unbelievable. He's playing really well. They've got like Marquise Brown. They've got rookie Michael Wilson. Those guys can get down the field. So if they've got to stop those deep shots. I mean, those deep hole shots that the Titans were hitting, that cannot stop. They've got to get better at tackling. James Conner is not Derrick Henry by any means, but he's a very hard punishing type runner that the Bengals had difficulty with last week. So I think that's another problem too. On paper, it's really not close in a talent level between these two teams,
and you have a desperate Bengals team coming in.
You do. Like you said, the Cardinals have been in every game. They almost won their first 2 games. The 2 teams that they were playing had massive comebacks. They beat the Cowboys in week 3. They kind of got dominated last week by the 49ers, but like the final score is still relatively close. I just don't think this is like the team that we all thought. They're playing really hard. I don't think they have a ton of talent, but it's not the type of team you're just going to roll over, I think, at this point. Especially with how the Bengals are playing. So yeah, I do think it's going to be a win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy win. I would like to see an easy win. I mean,
I would love to.
Doesn't it feel like a 31-7 win would just wipe away all these problems? Everything would feel like feel like it used to, and we'd be
My
back to
shows would be so much better next week if that would happen. That would
Exactly.
be so awesome. I would stop getting hounded on Twitter like, you're such a Bengals homer. I'm like, I know I am.
I know. And I pick the Bengals every week. They've made me look like fools, every week but one. I think a win like that would just put a lot of these concerns to bed, make everybody feel great. But I just have my doubts that they can do that right now.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it all depends on how much Joe can move. And it's not even moving laterally. It's more stepping up in the pocket. And my buddy Joe from the Bengals Riverfront show said that. And wasn't something I paid attention to during the game because I'm just watching the game afterwards. I'm like, yeah, he wasn't stepping up. Which, I mean, some of the blitzes were coming straight. Yeah. He couldn't step up. So that was more of the issue with that too. So let's get to that point. I want to get to is when you have a quarterback who can't move, and you had a defensive front like Tennessee. Arizona's defensive front is not as good. It's still a pretty good defensive front, but not they don't have a Jeffrey
Simmons. Yeah, there's
Simmons.
No, there's no Simmons. No,
there's no Simmons. But with Burrow, if he, which I said, knock on wood, hopefully he can move more than he did last week, which he's getting another week away from not aggravating it. Hopefully get through all practice and not aggravate it. He should be able to move more. If he can do that, that bodes well to be able to get out of some of the stuff that he couldn't get out of last week. Because if he can just step to the side, not necessarily run, just step to the side or step up or something, then that helps evade some of this pass rush that he get. Because I think the problem is with this is when the Bengals get down by 3 touchdowns, you can't run the ball. Because I said this in the Tennessee game. They had the ball for almost the whole second quarter. Tennessee had the ball for almost the whole third quarter. Yeah. We didn't get I know people say, well, look at all the stats, how many times we had the ball. Yeah, but look how long Tennessee had, and they scored. They come back at me and say, well, we didn't score. I got it. I know. I understand we didn't score. Our defense didn't stop anybody. My point is, when you have a quarterback who can't move and you have to throw the ball, and they know you can only do it over the middle and little dinks and ducks because they can't throw it outside, they can't throw it deep, that makes it pretty easy to sack them.
It does. Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. I think we can all agree. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world.
No,
I think we can all admit that.
That's why he needs the mechanics.
So in like a lower body injury like that, he needs that lower body. That's the problem. He just doesn't have that lower body right now to get those throws down the field. You can just see it. And the Bengals offensive line has not played well either. Let's not pretend like they have. I mean, I haven't been very impressed by what they've done. I think Cordell, was it last week or the week before, Cordell Volson's PFF passing grade was like 0.0, which I didn't know was possible. I don't think that they've played all that well. I would have far less concern about this Cardinals front than I would about the Titans, though. I just don't think they've gotten after some quarterbacks, but they don't have like that wrecking ball like Jeffrey Simmons, who could just take over games, right? We've seen it.
Which is more what the Ravens had. They have a good defense, but they don't have that wrecking ball. So, and we only lost to the Ravens by 3 points. So, you're saying there's a chance, Dallas. I can feel it. You're telling me there's a chance.
There's definitely a chance. Like there's absolutely a chance. Yes. I don't know. The Bengals have dealt with this like for the past couple of years of teams just sitting back, playing cover 2 or 2 high shells and saying, throw underneath. Good luck.
Yep.
I think that was a problem before Joe got hurt, and it's an obvious problem.
We had last year at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And it's like an even a bigger problem now that he can't get anything down the field. He can't test that. He can't make any sort of like escapability or get outside the pocket. Joe Burrow is never going to be a rushing quarterback, but
rolling out.
He's got some of the best pocket movement, pocket presence, I think, of the current quarterbacks. And he's got that escapability, right? Where he could just get enough. He can do enough. It just doesn't have that right now. And I think it's going to be time. It's just going to be time to see if he can do that.
Now, I can't even pronounce his name on here. Mavron, whatever. He said, I hope the Bengals are absolutely terrified of the Cardinals. If the Bengals think this is going to be easy win, they will lose. I don't think the Bengals think anything right now is going to be an easy win. They trust me. The Bengals single, and this is where I'm at as a fan. My single mindset right now is beat Arizona. That's where they're at. They are going to do everything possible they can because they can't lose this game. Yeah. That's their mindset. The coach team said, we can't lose this game. We got to win it. So I don't think they're overlooking the Cardinals at all. And I don't know if they overlooked Tennessee or not. I'm just saying the offensive scheme that they put together on Monday night was completely different than what they did on Sunday. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know if they overlooked them or not. I don't think they're going to against Arizona.
I don't think they will either. I'd like to see like a sense of urgency that maybe we haven't seen, that we didn't see last week. I'd like to see maybe if they win the toss, maybe don't take the ball first this time, which they've been doing.
Well,
Maybe,
the way the defense is playing, I don't know.
I know, but like you're giving these other teams a chance to score right at the end of half and then score right after the halftime, and like that, you just don't want to do that. I don't know. It's hard to say because I keep thinking, there needs to be changes. There need to do something different. But I don't know exactly what that is. I think
that's where I'm at. I'm like, well, everybody say, well, change the quarterback. I'm like, that doesn't mean it's going to fix everything for guys throwing 3 freaking passes in the NFL. I'm like, it's not that, or change the play caller. It's not that. That isn't a simple fix. It's kind of like somebody on the radio here said, what if Joe Burrow sat all the way till the bye week and you can 100% guarantee he's going to be better? Well, okay, cool. Sign me up for that. But you can't. Let's live in reality here. That's
the season would be over. I mean, the season would just be over. You might as well give up. I mean, this.
Well, he was saying if you go to the bye week and you end up being 3-3.
If you somehow
last week, yeah.
Gotcha,
if you guarantee the Bengals be 3-3, and after the bye week, Joe come back and be 100%. Yeah, I think every Bengal fan would take that, but that's not reality. And I hate those questions because that's not reality.
I know. And I know. And it's just tough, right? Because I think the expectations were just so high coming into this year. Like the highest I can remember since I've been following and being a fan of the Bengals, honestly.
Well, that's what everybody said. They're high last year. I think everybody expected us to win a Super Bowl last year. So
I guess, but like I think just being the fact that you've been to the championship game twice in a row. Now you go out and get Orlando Brown. Joe Burrow's entering his 3rd or 4th season. I think this just felt like the season to me. It felt like the Bengals are going to go out and win 14 games this year. They're going to run and go on the Super Bowl run. That's what it felt like until Joe got hurt. And I think it's hard for a fan base to have those expectations and now be where the Bengals are sitting, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty jarring.
Call me crazy. I still have those expectations until I'm going to be. I'll tell you this: if they lose Arizona, I'm going to be absolutely freaking crushed. I will tell you that right now. It's going to crush me. So, all right, let's get to this other question I got for you about Zach Taylor. Now, the way the season has started and the stretch that they're in now, I'm talking from now until the bye week.
Yeah.
How is this going to define Zach as a coach? I mean, this is to me, this is the defining stretch for Zach Taylor as the Cincinnati Bengals head coach. I mean, am I overstating that of how big this is?
I mean, it's tough, right? I mean, I don't think Zach Taylor gets a lot of love around the NFL from writers, from fans, from really anybody. I mean, Bengals fans know this is a guy who's taken a team to the AFC Championship game twice in a row. He's been to a Super Bowl, and yet every list of head coach rankings I see, he's somewhere around 15, 16. And maybe that's fair. Maybe people just think that this team is, like I said before, it's a player-run team that has a lot of talent, and Zach Taylor's not doing that much. I think you're right that this is, if that's the vision people have of him, if that's the image people have of him, these next 2 games are kind of the chance to kind of push back against that. If he can do something to make life easier on Joe Burrow, which they haven't really done so far.
Well, they did it Monday night.
Okay, they did it Monday night.
Yeah, they have done it.
They have done it. I don't know. I would like to see him be more aggressive, like we just talked about. I would like to see him do a little more to keep Burrow safe in the pocket, whether that's like chipping with tight ends and running backs, or whatever it is along the offensive line to have more cohesion there. I think it's an important stretch. I do think that if this season goes down the drain and keeps kind of looking like it is so far, I don't know that people will really blame Zach Taylor, though. I mean, I think just given where Joe Burrow is and how he's looked, I think that's how people will remember this season. If it kind of goes down the drain, is that, oh yeah, that was that season that Joe had the calf thing and, they went 6-11 or whatever, and then they rebounded the next year. I don't necessarily think that people will hold Zach Taylor to account for an injury. Now, if they go out and look completely lethargic again on both sides of the ball, and Joe Burrow is still playing like this, and there's no obvious signs of help, and all these kind of factors that we've seen, then yeah, I think the pressure would be on him a little bit. But I don't know. We're a long ways away from like Zach Taylor being on the hot seat or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I mean, even if we lose Sunday, Joe's going, as soon as Joe starts getting healthy, we're going to win a bunch of games. I mean, it might be.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm like, but that's the problem, though. It might be too late. So that's
It
where
very
I'm
well
like,
could be.
that's where people are like, well, I just because somebody made a comment in the comments here that well, if we lose, we should just tank. That's not happening. This team is not going to freaking tank. I mean, they're not. I mean, Joe Burrow. Like you just said in this broadcast, Joe Burrow is one of the most highly competitive people in this country. I mean,
Yes.
most of these guys on this team they're not going to tank. I don't care what everybody. I don't care if Marvin Lewis Jr. or Marvin Lewis Jr. I got Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is out there or not. This team is not going to tank. So I'll just get that out of your brain. It's not going to happen because they're too talented of a team and they're too competitive for that to happen. So the thing is, what we're going to find out is we're going to win a lot of games. We're going to have a winning record, but we're going to miss the playoffs if we don't win. We got to be 3-3, I think, going into the bye. That's where I'm at. That has to happen.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And I don't think it's a guarantee, though.
No.
Even if we think that they can win on Sunday, which I think we both do, Seattle Seahawks are a pretty good team. I mean, if you watch the Monday night game, they took down Daniel Jones 10 times. I mean, I hate to see what they can do against this Bengals offensive line. Even if you get through that stretch and it's 3-3, it's the 49ers. Then it's the Buffalo Bills. Then it's the Houston Texans who are playing well. It's an absolute gauntlet. I think the Bengals have already failed the easy part of their schedule, which is unfortunate to say. And again, it's the reality of what it is. But they can save the season on Sunday, but that's not the end. I mean, that's not even close to the end. There's a long way to go, even if they're able to pull out a win on Sunday.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's like I said, we just got through the first month. I mean, it's a fast first month, but we just got through the first month. Somebody. Oh yeah, I was going to say, Ryan. Who's the guy for ESPN? Ryan, the former Steeler.
Clark.
Yeah, Ryan Clark. He said something I thought was kind of interesting on Get Up either today or yesterday that he's disappointed in the AFC North that they're not as good. I mean, the Steelers aren't as good. The Bengals haven't been as good. And that, to me, when he said that, I'm kind of going, huh. He's kind of right. The only team that's really played well is the Ratbirds. So that I'm thinking in my optimistic mind, if we get on a roll here and we start playing like we can play, because out of all the teams that are there, the Bengals, I think, have the best shot, the most talented to turn this around. So that, again, I'm like, well, all right, that gives me hope that, the Steelers suck. I mean, Pickett's hurt. The Browns are what they are. We got to go get Myles Garrett. You got to deal with him if they can figure that out. So that's again where I'm like, all right, well, he's kind of right. So the Bengals can't turn us around. There's hope. I don't think we're going to get the division. I think that's out. They're 3 games up on it. The Ravens have to lose a lot of games that they shouldn't lose, which could happen. But I think
which they have done.
They have done because they get injured. So I mean, it's
so
not out of the realm of possibility.
Yep.
I think that's more looking at the wild card, which ticks me off because I wanted the number one.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. Is the AFC North a big disappointment for you as far as how the teams have played?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the one silver lining you can look at is that the Ravens are 3-1, but Steelers and Browns have not been playing that well. I was looking at some of the offensive efficiency numbers, and as bad as the Bengals have played, the Browns and the Steelers have been worse from an offensive efficiency perspective. Now both their defenses have been much better than the Bengals defense, and the Browns defense is playing at a historic, level. But it doesn't look like, unless the Ravens just absolutely run away with this division, which they could. I think they're very talented. I think they have good coordinators on both sides of the ball. They've gotten really unlucky with injuries, which they seem to every single season. But I was looking at the injury report this week. They are getting some guys back. Some of their offensive linemen. Beckham is coming back to practice, so they're getting some guys back. That'd be the team I'd be concerned about. The Browns defense, and the Browns are just a bad matchup for the Bengals in general. I think the Browns defense is absolutely terrifying, but I still have a lot of questions about that offense. Deshaun Watson has had, I think, one good game as a Brown, which was week 3. And then it sounds like he chose not to play last week, even though he was cleared, which was I've never heard of something like that. That was strange. And then, the Steelers, I don't know. Steelers get so much respect, which I guess they should, because they never bottom out, and Mike Tomlin's a great coach and stuff. But
I hope to God he has his first losing season this year. That'll make me. I mean, trust me, I would rather the Bengals go to the playoffs than that happens. But If we don't make the playoffs, I want them to freaking lose. I'd love to have his first losing season. That's ridiculous.
They're so bad on offense. I just wrote something about Mad Canada this week. Like it's hard to watch. And I feel bad for Kenny Pickett, honestly. Like I don't know if he's that great, but I don't think he's getting any help off it, like scheme wise, anything like that. I'm pretty sure Mad Canada told the CBS broadcast that the Steelers offense is not built for comebacks, which
that's good.
Not what you want to hear, right?
That's
like, okay, well, they're not good at scoring points either. So which one is it?
Why the hell would you say that?
I don't know. Why would you even?
We're just built to go from the lead. And that's it. We can't come back. Like, that's not good.
I don't know. It's not the AFC North that concerns me. It's just the rest of the AFC in terms of getting to the mountaintop, right? I mean, you watch the Miami, and I know the Dolphins. Well, they put up 70 points one week.
Yeah, but then they laid an egg against Buffalo.
And then they go to Buffalo, and Buffalo puts up almost 50 on them.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, those are the type of performances that the Bengals are going to have to try and match up to, let alone the Chiefs and the Ravens and, any of these other AFC teams. The Bengals are not doing anything close to that right now.
And they have so much potential to do that.
It looks like a different sport compared to what the Dolphins and Bills are doing right now. So
one thing I say about Buffalo too is if you remember last year, their offense took off and played great. And the later got the season, the worse their offense got.
Yes.
Now, if that could happen this year, I don't know, but they've done it before.
Yeah, I think the Bills are interesting because I do wonder if they're almost providing a blueprint for what the Bengals will need to do in the next, maybe not in season, but like over the off season, in terms of they're like running a lot of heavier 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. They're really getting into like, we need to get these short yardage, our ground game working, which was never working. They're trying to be a little more varied and have mix up their personnel a little bit more and not just ask Josh Allen to go out and win every game. Maybe the Bengals could take a little advice from that, maybe, Bengals run 11 personnel more than any team in the league. That's fine, but like maybe you need to have a couple different approaches and be able to win in different ways. I don't really think the Bengals have shown that they can do that, and that maybe that goes back to coaching that we talked about before. But yeah, I think that the Bengals will want to look at what the Bills did this offseason and maybe try and copy some of that going into next year.
Either way, we got to win Sunday. That's the bottom line. That this has to happen. Yeah. Dallas, you've been on for almost an hour. I appreciate you coming on. I love having you guys on here. You and Jay, you guys are great guys, and everybody go check out their podcast and everything that you guys write. Go ahead and plug your stuff before I let you go.
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate you having me on. It's always a great conversation. PFN Bengals podcast comes out every Tuesday with me and Jay. So please check that out. Check out all of Jay's great Bengals coverage. We've got coverage on other teams. I'm doing general NFL coverage, betting, fantasy, college, anything you want. We've got it all. ProFootballNetwork.com. Give us a click.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't take the betting the stuff from you guys. I might do it from your actual betting guy. I think he's kicking your guys' ass. I think. I'll send
you our internal pick spreadsheet where I believe I'm 10 games up on Mr. Jay Morrison right now. So,
state throne, baby, state throne. All right, let's go.
Make that public.
I like it. All right, Dallas, man, I appreciate you. We got to win Sunday. We'll find out, and I'll definitely get you back on the show again. Who day?
Great. Take care, man.
See ya. All right, guys, go check out Dallas. Go check out Jay. Of course, we all like Jay. And Dallas is awesome too. They do a great job on their podcast. I want to give a shout out to Aubrey. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I got a new background. For people on the podcast, if you're listening, I'm going to click off real quick. I'm going to show everybody the new background that I have and that Aubrey took for us. So it might go quiet here for a little bit. So that was the picture that she took from the bridge after the Bengals won our first playoff game in forever against the Vegas Raiders. So she allowed me to use that. So I appreciate her letting me use that. It's an awesome picture. So it's a great memory. I was at that game. We were lighting up cigars. It was awesome. So anyway, go check out Dallas. If you need any pictures, go find Aubrey. And she can take care of them for you. All right, let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And of course, I appreciate every single one of them. They are Who Dey Nation, Who Dey Legion, Radical Reds, Bearcat Ruckus, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, and TikTok. Twitter X handle is at Jeff A. Trenopole. TikTok is Iceman90. Instagram, I'm starting to figure out Instagram. So go follow my Instagram stories and stuff like that. I'm starting to put links up for different videos and stuff I'm putting up there, and just different stuff I'm finding. So if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please do. Please go to the YouTube channel, Sports Strawberry Ice, if you're watching on anything else. And if you guys are on the channel, make sure you go click through some of the videos that I've put out here lately and some of the shorts. I'm trying to do a little more content to try to give you guys some more entertaining stuff. I did a little short on, and I'm waiting for my in-laws to come at me on this, because the Tampa Bay Rays had a playoff game yesterday, and they had the lowest attended playoff game to a Major League Baseball playoff game since 1919. 1919. And the the Rays are actually really good, and they go to the playoffs a lot. And I'm like, you guys are all retired down there. Go to the game. You're a really good baseball product. I mean, hopefully that's where the Reds are trending to with all the rookies we got and the ones we got coming up. We're going to be more like the Rays are and go to the playoffs more, but hopefully actually win the World Series. Either way, go check all that stuff out. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'll be pulling this out later on tonight. Put it on the podcast. It's on BeanPod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Give me a 5-star review and a comment for more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Tomorrow, I got Trags. My boy Trags. Trags is going to be on. So I'm having a pretty cool week with all these different Bengals beat writers on here. Trags is awesome. Go follow him on Twitter. He will be on tomorrow. I confirmed it with him at practice today. And one thing I want to tell you that I did today. I went down to practice, and like I said, everybody calls me a homer, and I'm too much of an optimistic Bengals fan, which you're right, I am. I choose to try to look at stuff on the brighter side, because if I had to come on here, and I've had to turn off sports radio here in Cincinnati, because if I have to listen to somebody else tell me how the season's over, they should have sat Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor needs to be fired, Zach Taylor needs to give up play calling, I'm going to drive a nail through my eye. I am like, that is not, to me, entertaining. That is mind-numbingly, I'm like, okay, and then listen to other people get on there and just bitch and complain. I'm like, I got it. We all know what's going on. They got to change something. We know that, but listen to it over and over and over again. I'm just like, I can't take this, because it's just depressing. I don't live my life like that. I try to have fun, and enjoy this. That's where I'm like, we're focusing on Arizona. We got to beat Arizona. Now, that doesn't happen, it's going to suck. I'll just tell you that. But my whole rant to this is I try to just give you an entertaining show, hopefully take your mind off of stuff, hopefully give you some hope, to what's going on. And like I said, I've gotten called, like, my boss at work, like, I'd be like, I was freaking insane. I'm like, well, I was like, when the rest of them, we can make the playoffs. Like, are you nuts? I'm like, well, we damn near did last year or something. It could happen. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Trags on tomorrow. Make sure you guys check that out. I will see you. You guys have a great evening. Go watch some of the baseball playoffs. They are an absolute blast. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Did I say that already? I think I did. Anyway, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm rambling. You guys have a wonderful day. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
In the night, stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in our stripes. Cincinnati, we gon'